So we're picking up from where we left off with the mysteries of the Solemn Brotherhood of the East. We're on chapter 11, dealing with Yahshua reveals the marriage law, man and wife, from Allah. The law forbids adultery, but in the eyes of the law, adultery is an overt act, the satisfaction of the sensuous self outside the marriage bonds. Now, marriage in the sight of the law is but a promise made by man and woman by the sanction of the priest to live together until death. But no priest or officer has the power from Allah to bind two souls in wedded love. What is a marriage tie? It is not what the priest may say or do. There is but one true marriage, the Allah, and Allah alone can perform this marriage. It is the love of Allah that finds its way into the two, man and woman's heart, and that is all ever to be. Your priests cannot cause this to be. And of course, a lot of these introductory books for principal purposes will say things. We know etymologically, marriage, what that means. So, technically it'd be matrimony, but we get the principle. It's no outside thing. For when people come together, it's a divine thing, and it's not like you can't really be. It's something you can't pick it. It kind of just happens, right? It kind of just a natural thing, and that's Allah. It is the promise of the two that they will love each other until death. Is love a passion that is subject to the will of man? Can man pick up his love as he would a gem and lay it down or give it out to anyone? Can love be bought and sold like sheep? Love is the power of Allah that binds two souls and makes them one. There is no power on earth that can dissolve this bond. The bodies may be forced apart by man or death for just a little time, but they will meet again. Now, in this bond of Allah, we find the marriage tie. All other unions are but bonds of straw. And they who live in them commit adultery. But more than this, the things which men see not with eyes of flesh are more worth than the things that man can see. A good name is worth 1,000 times a mind of gold. And he who says a word or does a deed that injures or defames that name is a thief. Upon the table of the law, we read, quote, "Thou shalt not covet anything." To covet is an all-consuming wish to have anything that is not right for anyone to have, and such wish is the spirit of the law, is theft. So before we summarize this, Phoenix saying she said she can't log in. I'm not sure. But let's open the floor for some thoughts. Somebody can just share their thoughts on this chapter as I try to I'm gonna send Phoenix another invite real quick. Yeah, somebody just chime in and give their thoughts on the chapter.
One thing that stuck out the most to me was I forgot the line, but it was saying, "Can you buy love and sell it like sheep?" Um, I think that it stuck out the most because I think that's like kind of how society is like right now, where we have people trying to buy people's love and trying to make things work instead of just kind of letting it gravitate towards them. And so what society sees is something that, in my opinion, is not ideal, it's not real, it's not authentic, it's not genuine. So you can't really be, that's why you can't be so much plugged in into social media or society and what's shown, because it's not real, you know.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Well, I would like to tune in on that. And that is a good point there, Jaleesa. But the thing is that I think with us, once you understand that God is the invisible. I was reading something before we opened up this chapter, but it's in a book I have. But it says that God is the invisible partner in our lives, and affirms that divine love goes before us and prepares the way. So once we are in tune with ourselves and know that we are spirit, we already are in love. We're walking in love. So that's going to be a natural attraction to us, because that love is going to be the divine power to make our way. So you will be naturally gravitated to what it is, the divine power that it is, when you be gravitating to that in others. That's the way I took that.
Right.
Well said, yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Humble Bay, Islam.
Islam, peace and love. What's good?
Islam. We missed you, Sunday.
I missed y'all too, man. I missed y'all too. I have my own little shit going on, so I ain't want to bring that amongst the group. You know what I'm saying? I'm never want to do that, so I got to deal with my stuff. So that's what I had to do. But I was like, when I seen the pictures, I was like, oh man, they have fun for real. Oh man, but it's all good, you know. We mobbing together, we unified. So I'm here. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
Sure.
Just know that if I ever chime out, I'm going through my little rut. You know what I mean?
Okay. All right. As long as you come out of it.
Yeah.
As long as you come out of that, you can't stay in it. As long as you come out of it, we'll be patient. Just come out of it.
Right.
Hey, I'm doing my best. I tell you that. I'm doing my best in the name of Allah.
That's right. Islam.
Any other thoughts on this chapter?
Yes, Islam. A line where he's saying that basically any other union that isn't bound by Allah is like held together with straw, something like that. How does it say?
Yep, it's just straw. Yep.
So I'm reading a book called Meet Your Straw Man and Whatever You Want to Know, and it just ties back into anything that they do. It's fictitious. It's fake. It's no merit. It's nothing held. Nothing of strength holding it together. No bond. No real bond. Basically.
Right.
So whether it be marriage or any other certificate or anything that dealing with them telling you what to do, basically, it's not held by God. So it's not held.
What's the book called?
There.
The Strawman.
Meet Your Strawman.
Yeah, line number 12.
Yep, that's it. Yeah.
All other unions are but bonds of straw.
Yep.
So all other unions, meaning, okay, but if you have all other unions, meaning that if you're meeting other people that are not elevated to where you are, basically, is that what that is? Or they're working more out of their lower self? Or they're operating out of their lower selves than they are?
Yeah, as far as their decision making for their partner or whatnot, versus letting it come divinely.
And also whoever is ordaining it or sanctioning it. So it's both sides.
Right.
Yeah. It's like putting your faith in man and contracts and stuff like that, instead of a natural law and stuff like that.
Right. Yeah, I think our move was showing the book just now, the Meet the Straw Man. Yeah, but yeah, it's all in principle. Yeah, the same thing. You know, it's more valuable to have a society of people on the same page and directing the energy to the same energy versus one person, just with a contract or whatever. Or, there's more value in having a community versus one person getting rich, versus having infrastructure. Would be another. That's what comes to my mind as well. But, that's what's promoted is that I gotta get the bag. I gotta, you know what I mean? They promote, and society is promoted an individual type of thing, like an individual empire versus community of people that have infrastructure to build things incrementally. You know what I mean? So that's all straw when we get it.
Yeah, that's why it's also important to break ties with those contracts to actually be a free person. Because when you're under these contracts, you're not really a true person. You're not your true self. So that book, it definitely it's a good read. I suggest anybody who doesn't have it gets it, because it breaks it down and it just tells you literally everything from when you hop in it to how you can get yourself out of it.
So it's called Nature's Straw?
Meet your straw man.
Okay, meet your straw.
Yep, like, what's up, bro? I'm your straw.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, man. But as long as you know what you're doing, as long as you know what you're doing, you know what you're doing. Because if you're looking at it like you building credit or you doing something because you don't want to divide, dig in your pocket, even though you might have the money to do it, but you're doing something as a strategy to get some capital to do some flipping. That's more like you have a destiny. You know what you're doing. You're not thinking that you are that. You saying I got this entity that I'm gonna use to get me capital.
That's a fact.
So I can inventory for my flip. You know what I'm saying?
Turn it off gold.
You pay it back now. You can made so you got profit. Utilizing their little whatever. But most people don't have a mentality to do that, and they fall in what you call debt, quote unquote. Or they think they in debt.
Everybody's scared, man. It's just like, oh, don't break the law, don't break the rules. You're gonna get in trouble. You're gonna get a fine. You're gonna go to jail.
That's the key right there. They say break the law, but it's break the legalese, not the law, because you can't. The law is not what they're using.
That's right.
That's how they treat everybody.
Yeah.
I just wanted to chime in on the straw man, because in the Wizard of Oz, the Scarecrow, he just wanted a brain.
Yep.
He wanted to go see the wizard so he could get himself a brain. Remember, the lion needed a heart. It's all like there.
And guess what's with the brain? The third eye. So he's missing
people are like most people today are like that. No brain, no courage, no heart.
That's what they were talking about in the Wizard. Us.
Yeah.
Wake up, Dorothy. We never left Kansas.
That was us in the Wizard of Oz. Yep. Mm-hmm.
Remember, like she wanted the Wicked Witch. She wanted todo or todo. She wanted everything.
Right. Oh, all of it. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Oh wow.
She wanted the dog. She wanted the dog too.
His name is Toto, but it's todo. You know, like everything.
Total fun. Yeah.
That's a cold breakdown.
Fire right there.
Wow. It's mind blown.
Yeah.
But that's how the fairy tales, all the fairy tales are telling us the truth.
Oh, Islam. Yeah. Phoenix finally got in here. Islam.
The answers are right in front of our faces.
Right in front of us.
Islam.
No, right only in the face of those who have been enlightened, because we've been listening to
we can see.
Yeah. We've been listening to those stories since childhood. Mm-hmm. We would have never seen the reality of what they really know, what are you really saying? And now we see, you've been putting the spells on us in these fairy tales, and kids grow up on that stuff. And then, so now we can see. So thank you for allowing us to see.
Yes.
Yeah. Islam Phoenix. I don't know what
Islam
happened.
Phoenix.
Islam Mercury doing his thing. I definitely tried to get in here like 8 times, and then I got in, and then I said something, and it kicked me right out, and I had to do it. Like, I've been sitting here for like the past 20 minutes just trying to log on.
I've had those moments.
I said this conversation must have been fire, and they wanted me to
Phoenix. I heard you when you tapped in. I let the grand chief know. As soon as I heard you, you said Islam, and then boom, next thing you know, your shit was gone.
Knocked you off.
Wow, like, okay, I wasn't supposed to participate in whatever I was.
Yeah. Let me see. Any other thoughts before we transition to astral diagnosis?
Just how I just wanted to mention how I'm glad that you brought up the whole strategic thing too, because especially how I'm trying to, sell food and stuff. Like, if you want to participate in like certain farmers markets or certain events, they're probably going to want you to have all the permits and all that so yeah, they're not just going to let you go there on, at least for now, you know what I'm saying? Till we enlighten a couple more people.
Yeah. There's a way, if you serious enough, there's ways where,
as you can see, this is their favorite mouth.
Like I said, we're doing pop-ups. I'm doing pop-ups 3 times a week now, man. Wherever I park my feet, that's where I'm getting money at. It's coming straight to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, little by little, like how in your Moorish, the flow chart, how it says that indigenous people are not required to they can't be forced to join groups made by man and stuff like that. The DMV.
Yes, a case law.
That would be one of them too, right?
Well, that too. Yeah.
Like, you can't be forced to get permits and stuff like that to sell on,
Yeah, that case
your land.
No forced assimilation.
Yeah,
that would be talked about number 12 again.
Yeah, if you're talking rights of indigenous people, that's what I heard you say. One of the articles would be, right not to assimilate. You can't force someone to assimilate something doesn't share your culture. Y'all don't see eye to eye. There's a different culture, So yeah, but for the case law too, there's a case law too that's saying that you don't have to participate in institutions formed by your fellow men as well on that tip too, though. So, yeah.
Well, we have a little one that wants to speak.
Who is that? Toledo baby?
Who has the baby?
Oh yeah.
Oh shoot.
Oh my goodness. Oh, she wanted is it a she or he?
It's a boy.
It's a boy. Oh, little Noble. He is so cute. He was just talking. You guys heard him. He wanted to talk. He was trying to talk.
His little moo kind of look.
He's trying to tell you nationality, the order of the day.
Yes, he is.
That's what it sounded like he was saying.
It was, yes. Oh, congratulations, Noble.
Thank you.
Yes.
Speaking on straws, we put 7 on his birth certificate, but you know he'll be up on game.
Oh,
That's my nephew's name is 7.
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome.
Yes.
I never met nobody with that name.
His name is 7.
Good vibration.
All right.
And then my grandson's name is Dakota.
Dakota. That's nice. Dakota. Right.
Yeah, that's powerful names. All right. So this is where we left off last in Astro Diagnosis by Max Wendell. We're still in the kidney section. We're dealing with diabetes. We have a patient, female, born February 24th, 1863 at 9:50 p.m. The horoscope of this woman has the sign of Libra on the ascendant, with cardinal signs on the 4 angles, and Leo intercepted in the 10th house. These are all signs of strong feeling. The cardinal signs are the favorites of the universe, for the sun's entrance into these 4 signs mark the 4 seasons. People with the cardinal signs on the angles feel more keenly, live more intensely, and as a result suffer more than others. The ascending sign of our patient is that of Libra, with Jupiter retrograde on the ascendant. Jupiter is parallel to the sun, but its being retrograde naturally weakens the effect of this planet. We find Jupiter in the latter degrees of Libra, a Venus sign, and Venus and the sun in the Jupiter sign of Pisces. Usually under such conditions, the bodies take on an abundance of flesh after middle life. This woman was an immense size, weighing over 200 pounds, which is indicated by the above positions. Also by Jupiter on the ascendant and Mars in Taurus sextile to Venus in Pisces. Venus being in the 5th house, this woman found great pleasure in good things to eat and wanted her food in large quantities. This naturally caused her to put on much flesh. Neptune, the planet of mysteries, representing hidden or occult things, is in Aries in the 6th house, sextile to the moon. The 6th house rules labor, and the 10th house, the vocation. The moon is the ruler of the 10th house, and together with Neptune indicates the vocation which this woman would choose. It is thus clearly indicated that she was a professional medium. She was reported to be a very good one, which is shown by the moon sextile to Neptune and trine to Saturn. Okay, so sextile, remember, we're dealing with the degrees of separation that promotes growth. The 6th, 8th, and 12th houses being involved, Uranus being trine to Mercury, she would seek reasons for spiritualistic phenomena. Also because Mercury is in the intellectual sign of Aquarius. Uranus is in the Mercury sign of Gemini, a sign of intellectuality. And Uranus and Mercury are therefore a mutual reception, which is conducive to much sympathy between these two planets. What is meant by mutual reception is that these planets have exchanged signs. Uranus is in the Mercury sign, and Mercury is in the Uranian sign. These two planets, as a result, have a strong influence on the life of the native or the patient. This woman conducted classes in spiritualism and gave spiritualistic readings. We find Venus and the Sun in Pisces in the 5th house, the house of pleasure. Venus is sextile to Mars and has a weak square to Uranus. This was clearly expressed in the woman's life, for she lived with a man whom she introduced as her husband, but to whom she had never been married. This man was represented by the Sun and Venus in Pisces, and by Venus sextile to Mars, and in weak square to Uranus. The man was large, red-haired, and fond of drink. He depended upon this woman entirely for his support, and they both lived to eat and to make merry upon the money which she earned as a medium. This kind of a life may do for a while, but there comes a time when nature rebels, when the vital organs refuse to stand the strain any longer, as in this case. When the progress Venus reached a conjunction with Mars in Taurus, and the progress moon was in Aquarius, making a square to Mars, radical to Venus progress, the strain which the woman had placed on her body by her riotous living found a weak spot in the kidneys. For the chain is only as strong as its weakest link. Saturn usually shows the spot where the weakness is apt to show itself. So Saturn exposes the weaknesses and shrinks up the water, that's been a repetitive theme with Saturn, constantly shrinking up water or a liquid in general. It could be blood or whatever the case may be. We find in this case Saturn in Libra in opposition and parallel to Neptune. This woman called upon headquarters when she was suffering very greatly from diabetes. It was, however, very difficult for her to follow the diet laid down for her, as she was accustomed to the richest foods, which were taken in large quantities. Okay, we can open it up, have a dialogue. But as you can see, it never fails. Your chemical makeup is gone to dictate your tendencies. And just, I don't know, it's about the 30th example to show that fact. I even had conversations with people just on the stuff that I kind of know off the cusp, just by going over this book. And for instance, if somebody had lung issues, I would ask, like, you know, are you Gemini, or you have any Gemini placements? And typically they'd be like, yeah. You know, it was somebody that had throat problems. And they had some Taurus placements, you know, and typically bad habits in eating, the whole nine. That's the theme. That's another theme. Once again, you correct. Everything's reversible. It's not like you're doomed. Once you correct your behavior, your eating, and your diet and your mental, you're back in action. You know what I'm saying? And you want to know back to knowing yourself too, because you want to kind of know what you're dealing with, like be in tune with what your urges and your natural tendencies are. And if they're not good, you're gonna want to just put things in place to force you to be disciplined, whether it be a person or you just knowing yourself to know what not to be around. But that's everybody's individual thing that they got to be tapped into, you know. But yeah, let's have a conversation. How people feeling about this chapter?
So it was two main words out of that chapter that stuck out to me, and it was nature rebels, like when we don't pay attention to what's going on within our bodies or even what's going on around us, like the consequences of it will really sneak up on us and knock you out of balance. Like, so it's really good to stay up on top of that stuff.
Yeah, sure. Anybody else? Any other thoughts?
Well, I could chime in on that for the nature. Definitely coming in and talking to you when you are rebelling against your, your natural self is, just me going through this inflammation thing that I just went through these past 5 months, and that it just hit me like, okay, well, what is this? Why did this come? What's happening here? So that was me rebelling to my diet, and my body is telling me, okay, look, you're gonna have to do something. You better fix this. But, yeah, that's so on point, Phoenix.
Yeah.
It's long.
But God. And we all have a choice. That's the beauty of it. Right. We all have a choice. Our intellectual faculty. That's what separates us from the animals. That intellectual aspect. So, once again, I think we read something where it was saying you stay in that root chakra primarily. There's nothing that separates you, what makes you different from the animals. We was reading that on one of them Sundays, one of the books we were reading. But yeah.
That makes sense because root chakra, that has to deal with like your basic instincts, your survival. Yeah.
Yep. Any other thoughts on this chapter? And I will say, keep in mind that, like, you're gonna hear once again, I know we kind of went over it, but the whole trine and opposition and sextiles, once you kind of got that downloaded of what that means, that kind of helps you too when reading this book. Certain things in harmony, certain degrees of separation, like sextile, 60 degrees of separation, which, like I said earlier, promotes growth, positive harmony, opens, promotion of opening up new pathways. When you hear square, you're dealing with conflict and tension. So if you're saying 90 degrees, you're saying 3 signs away. You're saying 60 degrees, you're saying 2 signs away. So that's always in play. You're dealing with angles. Does anybody have any other thoughts on this chapter for our transition? A couple things that are coming up. So this Sunday, well, first of all, the temple where we're at is going to be under renovation. Actually, but we thought it was going to be under renovation. So when we were under that conclusion, we thought it would be fitting to go to temple number 80, do a meet and greet, or just, not even, just pull up. And remember they came, I think, the 2 brothers came, extended us an invitation. Shane Moore was, played basketball with a couple of weeks ago. And I thought it'd be a good idea to go over there. To show face Islam and maybe I know Amaru. I think Phoenix went to Stuff I Eat after. It's a little restaurant that I think we went to a couple of weeks ago in Inglewood, if I'm not mistaken. So
the Stuff I Eat.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's close to where Temple number 80 is at.
Okay.
They're like 83rd, it's like Western or Normandy or something.
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's the place where you was trying to try everything on the menu, Hanuna.
All right, on Market Street over there. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't get around to doing all that, but yeah. Mm-hmm.